Hello, so we're going to be looking at BIDMAS again on this video. If you haven't seen the previous video on BIDMAS, then take a look at that one because that links really nicely into this one. So we're going to be using all of the operations today. So a quick recap. The order of operations was decided a very long time ago and we must stick to that order, otherwise our answer will be wrong. So top of the list, number one thing to do is brackets. If we've got them, we sort them out first. Then we look at the indices if we've got those. Then the next level, division and multiplication, they are on the same level, come after indices. And that's what the previous video is covering. And addition and subtraction are also on the same level. Okay, so we wouldn't do one before the other necessarily. We would work left to right within the equation. So, quick recap from the previous video is if we have this, we have got multiplication, division and addition. If we quickly write up our little BIDMAS in the corner, going to look something like that. So we can see that the multiplication and division are on the same level. They come before the addition, so we're going to work from the left hand side through to the right hand side. So we have 7 times 5, it's going to be 35. And we have got, sorry, did not mean that plus. Here we've got the 10 divided by 2 would be 5, and we're going to add those together. 35 add 5 is going to give me 40. Okay, so that's a bit of a recap of what we did in the last video. Moving on now. So brackets. If we see a set of brackets, that's what we're going to work out first. Okay, that comes at the top, that's the B in BIDMAS. So for example, if we've got something like this here, we can see that we've got a set of brackets, so we're going to do those first. Okay, so we've got 7 plus 3, that's going to be 10, and then we've got times 4, it's going to give me 40. Okay, and normally, remember, we would do a multiplication before an addition, but because we've got those brackets in place, that is our number one priority to get done first. Okay, so brackets is the number one thing. Next, indices. So indices are where we have a power. Okay, so you might have heard of that as squared or cubed. It's written like this. So if I have 7 squared, the squared bit tells me that it's an indice. And as I said, this means 7 squared, which is just 7 times 7. If I had 7 with a little 3, that means 7 cubed. That little 3 shows me that I've got an indice. And that would be the same as 7 times 7 times 7. Okay, so I've got 7 times 7 times 7, so 3 times. When it's 7 squared, I only have it twice. Okay, so they are the next thing to do after we do the brackets. So that is the I in BIDMAS. So we've got the brackets, the B. We're now down to the I, that's indices. So they're next in order of operations after the brackets, like I've just said. So, for example, this question here. I'm going to write that BIDMAS back up in the corner just to get in the habit of doing it so I don't slip up. So my number one, remember, brackets, and I've got a set of brackets here. So 3 plus 2 is going to give me 5. Next up, indices, and I've got an index here. So 3 squared, that is the same as 3 times 3, which gives me 9. Next up, if I look down, I've got division and multiplication. Now, if I look at my question, I've got a multiplication there. I've got 9 times 2. So that is going to give me 18. And then I'm kind of back to my final little bit of working here. I've got my original 5 plus 18, and that is going to give me 23. Okay, so really important we do that in the right order there, because it would be very easy to have gone wrong. If I'd kind of forgotten about the multiplication and addition rules, I could have done the 5 plus 9. That would give me 14 times 2, which will give me 28. So that's not going to be right. So really important to remember that BIDMAS. And if you need to, just in the top of your page, you can draw a little box or something and write out BI and then DMAS, just so you remember. Okay, So a little bit of practice here. What I want you to do, pause the video, then give this a bit of practice, and then I will go through the solutions so you can restart the video once you have done the practice. So pause it now. Right, now let's have a look at this. So question 1, brackets first, remember. Before I even start, I'm going to get that BIDMAS back in the corner. So brackets first, let's solve those brackets. 4 times 5 is going to give me 20. 4 times 3 is going to give me 12. And then I'm just going to add those together to give me 32. Question 2, do I have brackets? No, but I do have indices. I've got 5 squared, so that's going to be the first thing that I do there. So 5 times 5 gives me 25. And then I've just got an addition and a subtraction, which, remember, if we look back here, they're on the same level. So I'm going to just work from the left to the right. 8 plus 25 minus 9. And if you need to break it down, that's fine. So 8 plus 25, that's going to give me 33 minus 9 is going to give me 24. Okay, moving on to number 3. Have I got brackets? No, but I do have an indice in my question, so I'm going to solve that first. 2 squared, that's 2 times 2, that's going to be 4. Now I've got a subtraction and a multiplication, so remember multiplication is above subtraction, so I'm going to do that bit first. So I've got 5 times that 4, and then I'm going to do the subtraction, so I've got 8 minus, and then remember my 5 times 4 is going to be 20. So 8 minus 20 is going to give me negative 12. Okay, so going into the negative numbers there. Now, last but not least, is I have got this last question, which has brackets and indices. So I'm going to do the bracket first. So 7 minus 3 is going to give me 4. Then I'm going to do the indices. So I've got 4 squared, which is going to be 4 times 4, which gives me 16. Then next I've got a subtraction, but I also have a multiplication. So I'm going to do that multiplication. 6 times 1 is going to be 6. So I've got 16 minus 6, that is going to give me 10. Okay, so it's really important we get those in the right order. Hopefully you got those all right. If you didn't, then you can look back at what I've gone through and try and correct your work. So what I can do, now that I've learned all those skills, is I can add brackets in to make a thing correct. So at the minute, these equations on the screen are not correct, okay? Because if I was to solve this and it didn't have any brackets in, I'd be looking at 4 times 5 would be 20, plus 4 would be 24, not 40. So I need to add some brackets in to make that correct. So let's try and work out where I might put those. So if I put them here, that will be doing the exact same thing as what I have just shown you. So I do the 4 times 5 first, and that wouldn't work because that would give me 24. So I know they're not going to go there, which means in this case they kind of have to go here. That's the only other place to go. So I need to check that works now. 4 plus 4 would give me 8 times 5 would give me 40. So I know that's now correct. The next one, as it stands, let's check if it's correct. So I've got 6 divided by 2, that's going to give me 3. 4 times 6 would be 24. So I've got 3 plus 24 minus 3, that is going to be 24, not 15. So it's not correct as it stands. I need to add some brackets in there to make it correct. Okay, so let's have a look, see where I could put them. If I was going to put some brackets around there, that's just going to do the exact same thing, because I'm going to do the 6 divided by 2 first, which would be 3 plus 24, and it's all just going to be the same. So that's not going to work there. Now, where else could I put them? I could put them round here. So I would have 2 plus 4 would be 6. 6 divided by 6 times by 6 minus 3. That's not going to work because I'd have 1 times 6 would be 6, minus 3 would be 3. So that's not the place to put them. Now let's try here, because I think that's the last place we can try. So brackets first, we have 6 minus 3, it's going to be 3. Whoops, sorry. It's going to be 3. Then we work from the left-hand side. 6 divided by 2 is going to be 3 plus 4 times 3. Well, 4 times 3 is going to be the next thing I do. That's going to be 12. So I'm going to have 3 plus 12 equals 15. And that is correct. So that took a few tries to work out where to put the brackets, but we got there in the end. And now that equation is correct. So now I have a challenge for you. Can you make all of the numbers from 1 to 10, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, using all 6 operations, so that is brackets, indices, division, multiplication, addition and subtraction, and the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you'll see in my example number 1, what have I used here? So I've used multiplication, I've used brackets, I've used subtraction, and I've used the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so you don't have to use all of the operations in the same question, but I'd like you to try using all the operations in at least some of the questions, and you need to use all the numbers in every question. So you'll see my second example. I've used all my numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. I haven't used all the operations in this question, but I have used a new operation of division. So my challenge to myself would be, can I do one with indices and addition? Oh, I've used addition there as well. Missed that. So I've used addition. So I'm just missing indices now. I need to make another number where I use indices. And that is all for today. So, quick summary, brackets first, then indices, which are like powers, like squared or cubed, then division and multiplication on the same level, then addition and subtraction on the same level. And it's really important to stick to the order, or your answer might be wrong.